Good day from New York. We are coming on the air on this July 4th with breaking news out of Southern California.
There has been a major earthquake in Southern California.
And we do begin with that major earthquake rocking Southern California.
And we have this just in. The U.S. Geological Survey records a magnitude 7.1 earthquake in Southern California, a day after the strongest quake in the region in 25 years.
So far, hundreds of aftershocks, and the region is bracing for more. It is the biggest quake in decades there. You can see the shaking workers running for cover inside this restaurant. Cans and bottles knocked off grocery shelves. Gas leaks and power lines downed. Crews battling house fires. Multiple injuries reported tonight, and the hospital there at the epicenter in Ridgecrest forced to evacuate.
Is that the probability of a big one hasn't changed at all.
You said we're long overdue?
Long overdue. We're playing Russian roulette.
Shalom, Israel. It's Chief Priest Lithiel.
And I'm the reader, Priest Ron Ben Israel.
And we're with Holy Nation of Israel. And we're back again with another short topic. But before we begin, as always, I would like to give all praises, all glory, all honor to the Most High God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, through his son, Jesus the Christ. So, to all my brothers and sisters that are going to pay attention to this video, going to watch this video, Lord's will, it'll be edifying to anyone that does check it out. So get your pencils, get your papers, get your notebooks, get your pens, take notes if you can, get your Bibles and read along with us if it's in your spirit. This is going to be a short lesson that I'm going to call a great earthquake in the great city. And the reason why we're going to bring this out is because of the earthquakes that have been occurring throughout the world recently. Most recently, the two earthquakes that have occurred in California. One in Southern California being a magnitude 6.4, and another a little outside of Los Angeles being a magnitude 7.1 earthquake. These earthquakes are given to us as a sign, Israel. And it's a sign for us to get right, because the Lord is right there on the doorsteps. Salvation is nearer than what we believe. So we're going to open up in Matthew chapter 24. Let's open up in Matthew 24 and 3, please.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 3.
Read.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives.
And as Christ sat upon the Mount of Olives, read.
The disciples came unto him privately, saying, telling us, when shall these things be?
The disciples came to Christ privately, and they had three questions for the Lord. Their first question was, when shall these things be? They wanted to know, when would the city be destroyed and when would the temple be destroyed? Continue.
And what shall be the signs of thy coming?
Their second question to Christ was, what will be the sign of his return? Read.
And of the end of the world.
And their third question was, what would be the signs of the end of the world? What would be the sign of the end of the world of Esau, of the end of the rulership of the Gentiles? Now we're going to deal with the signs of the end of the world. Continue, priest.
Verse 4. Jesus answered and said unto them,
Read.
Take heed that no man deceive you.
The first thing the Lord said is, take heed, be warned, and be careful that no man deceive you. Continue.
Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ.
For many shall come in the name of Christ, saying that I am Christ, saying that I am Christian. Continue.
And shall deceive many.
And they're going to deceive many of our brothers, and many. Continue.
And ye shall hear of wars.
And then you would hear of wars, read.
And rumors of wars.
And then you would also hear of rumors of wars. We live in that time today. There are many different conflicts transpiring across the world today. There are many different rumors of wars that are leaking on media today, whether it be on the internet or through the radio or through CNN or any other television programming. We see the wars. We hear of the rumors of wars today. Continue.
See that ye be not troubled.
But don't be troubled. Read.
For all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet.
But the end is not yet. Read.
For nations shall rise against nations.
For nation shall rise against nation. That's nationality against nationality. That's why you have Dylan Ruth running into an all-black church in South Carolina, killing all of his parishioners. That's why you have the conflict in Palestine with the so-called Jewish man and the Palestinian, the Arab, over there. The Bible says nation shall rise against nation, nationality against nationality, race wars.
And kingdom against kingdom.
A kingdom against kingdoms. Those are different countries at war with one another. Continue.
And there shall be famines.
And there shall be famines, food shortages, starvations in diverse places. Read.
And pestilence.
And there's going to be pestilence, diseases, illnesses, sicknesses, such as your Ebola, your Zika viruses, chicken pox, measles, pestilences as well. Read.
And earthquakes.
And what?
Earthquakes.
And earthquakes where?
In diverse places.
And earthquakes in diverse places. Famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. Like we just recently had the earthquake in California. The two earthquakes in California. July 4th, 6.4 magnitude earthquake strikes Southern California. July 5th, 7.1 magnitude earthquakes strikes outside of Los Angeles, California.
Here, we're making sure that nothing is going to come down in the studio here.
And it is going for quite a bit, everybody.
Experiencing very strong shaking. Wow. I think we need to get under the desk.
All right, we're going to go to break. We'll be right back after this. Wow. Holy.
Okay. It's still shaking. We're still shaking.
And in many different places around the world, there has been earthquakes, an uptick in earthquakes. Now go to the book of Revelation chapter 17 and verse 1. We're going to jump into the class. This class is called A Great Earthquake in the Great City. Let's start off in the book of Revelation chapter 17 and verse 1.
The book of Revelation chapter 17 starting at 1.
Read.
And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
So an angel came to John the Revelator, who was on the island of Patmos, and said, Come, I will show you the judgment of the great whore who sits on many waters. What are the many waters in which this whore sits? Jump over to verse 15.
Verse 15. And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth.
The waters in which you saw, in which the whore sitteth, read.
Are peoples.
Those are peoples.
And multitudes.
Read.
And nations and tongues.
So the waters make reference to the peoples, the multitudes, the nations, the tongues. And this woman is sitting upon these different peoples. She's sitting on these different peoples abroad, whether she be in their homelands or whether they be here in this great city, which is America, the great melting pot. The waters represent all peoples, different nations, multitudes, tongues, language. Verse 1 again. Jump over to verse 1.
Verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgments of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
I will show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, that sitteth upon many peoples, multitudes of people. Continue.
With whom the kings of the fornication.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Read.
Fornication. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
So the kings of the earth have committed fornication with this whore. What is the fornication? Hold this. Give me Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12. So the kings of the earth committed fornication with this whore. Was this fornication a physical fornication? Was this fornication carnal? Let's find out. Wisdom of Solomon 14.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, starting at 12.
Read.
For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
The beginning of what?
Spiritual fornication.
Finish it out.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life.
So fornication is not only physical or carnal. Fornication can also be spiritual. So the kings of the earth commit spiritual fornication with this whore. How do they commit spiritual fornication with her? By accepting her policies, her ideologies, in some way, shape, form, or fashion or another. That's how they commit spiritual fornication with this whore. Revelation 17 and 2 again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17, starting at 2.
Read.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
A spiritual fornication. Read.
And the inhabitants of the earth.
And all the inhabitants of the earth. Read.
Have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
And all the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. What is the wine of her fornication? Give me Micah chapter 2. What is the wine of her fornication? Excuse me. What is the wine of her spiritual fornication? Let's find out. Micah 2 and 11.
The book of Micah, chapter 2, starting at 11. If a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie.
If a man walking in the spirit of falsehood and lies, read.
Saying
what?
I will prophesy unto thee of wine.
I will prophesy unto thee of wine and what?
And of strong drink.
What is the wine? What is the strong drink? The wine and the strong drink are the spirits of falsehood and lies. Read.
He shall even be the prophet of this people.
This man or this woman that transgresseth by wine, that walks in the spirit of falsehood and lies, that becomes the leader of this people. That becomes the prophet of our people. Now we know what the wine is. Let's go back to Revelation 17 and 2 again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 2.
Read.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
The kings of the earth have committed spiritual fornication with this whore. They have accepted this whore's ideologies, this whore's philosophies, this whore's religion, this whore's policies, in one way, shape, form, fashion, or another. Continue.
And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
And the inhabitants of the earth are drunk off the falsehoods and the lies of the spiritual fornication of this whore. Keep reading, priest.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness.
Read.
And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast.
John said, I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. Read.
Full of names of blasphemy.
And this scarlet-colored beast was full of names of blasphemy. Read.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
And this beast had 7 heads and 10 horns. Hold this and give me Revelation chapter 12. Now, scarlet is just another word for red. Or red is another word for scarlet, however you want to put it. Let's see who this beast is with 7 heads and 10 horns. Let's see who this scarlet beast is with 7 heads and 10 horns. Revelation 12 and 3.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, starting at 3.
Read.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon.
What?
A great red dragon.
A great red dragon. Read.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
So this scarlet-colored beast in Revelation 17 with 7 heads and 10 horns is this same red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns in Revelation 12. Let's go back to Revelation 17 and pick up where you were. Read that verse again.
Verse 3. The book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 3.
Read.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast.
A red dragon. Read.
Full of names of blasphemy.
Full of names of blasphemy, like Judaism or Christianity. Read.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns. The 7 heads making reference to the 7 major empires of Esau: Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain. The 10 horns making reference to the 10 common markets. Continue.
Verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color.
And this woman that was on this beast with 7 heads and 10 horns was arrayed in purple and scarlet, or red and purple. Why was she clothed in red and purple? Give me the book of Daniel. Let's go to the book of, go to Daniel 5. Why was she clothed in red and purple? Because red and purple are colors that represent royalty, that represent prestige. It represents authority or a position of power. And we're going to get 2 examples of that. Let's get the example of scarlet first. Give me the book of Daniel 5 and 13.
The book of Daniel, chapter 5, starting at 13.
Read.
Then was Daniel brought in before the king.
He was brought in before Belshazzar, the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar. Read.
And the king spake and said unto Daniel, Art thou that Daniel,
read,
which art of the children of the captivity of Judah?
Jump down to verse 16. Is that into 13? All right, finish it off.
Whom the king my father brought out of Jewry.
Jump down to verse 16.
Verse 16. And I have heard of thee, that thou canst make interpretations and dissolve doubt.
Read.
Now, if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof.
So Belshazzar requested Daniel because he needed Daniel to interpret the writing that was on the wall. Continue.
Thou shalt be clothed with scarlet.
And he told Daniel, if you're able to interpret this writing that's on the wall, you will be clothed in what?
Shall be clothed with scarlet.
You will be clothed in all red. Why? Because the color red represents prestige. It represents power, authority. Continue.
And have a chain of gold about thy neck.
And you would have a chain of gold about your neck, representing your power, your authority. Read.
And shall be the third ruler in the kingdom.
And you will be the third ruler over the kingdom in Babylon. That's what Daniel was promised. Why did we go there? To show you that scarlet or red is a color that represents royalty.